It is time to install a hood on the 71. Let's get to it. What's going on, guys? Matt over here, Lethal Garage, and today we're gonna finally see if the hood fits on the 71. So if you guys followed any of the bodywork and all that greatness, you'll know we fit a hood on here that wasn't the final hood. So we went with the Anvil Auto 2.5 inch Cowl hood. I like it because it sits a little bit higher, looks a little more aggressive. Their lines look better than the 2-inch cowl that you see that's available from like Advanced Metal Direct or anything like that. So it's a carbon fiber top, fiberglass bottom. I cheaped out a little bit because the pure carbon fiber was a lot more expensive, but today we get to see how it fits. So I ended up going with the CVF hinges. I'm not gonna go too much in those because those are gonna have a separate video. I decided to go with these over the stock hinges just because of how much money we're spending on the car. I didn't want to go with just the stock stamped steel hinges. They just don't look good, in my opinion. Now, if you like those, great, nothing against you. We've spent so much money on the inside, I need a little bling, something a little blingy. And there's obviously a ton of options on hinges, but again, we'll talk about that in a separate video. Today is all about the hood. So I'm gonna get it out of the other side of the garage. We're gonna unbox it, make sure it's still good. It's been sitting in the garage for a better part of what, 3-4 months at this point. So yeah, and Heath's here. And we may see Craig. Craig may be stopping by. I don't know for sure, but if not, maybe we can sucker my father-in-law to come over to help. So it's just better if you have more people around to install a hood. You don't want to drop it or mess it up. So yeah, let's get to it. My wife is going to be really happy to get this out of the garage. It's kind of blocked so much. Actually, this is the rack of car parts. As we get more done to the car, we gain more garage space back. So I'm gonna have to set the camera down. We'll drag this out and get it back open. Well, guys, the caveat, obviously I'm wearing different clothing. My hair is different. It's been 5 weeks since I opened the garage and pulled the hood out. And the reason for that is I was shooting 2 videos at once. I was shooting the hinge install video plus the hood unboxing video. Keep in mind, my hood was not shipped to me. I did pick it up locally, so it's kind of hard to comment how the hood would have arrived packaged if it was shipping. I went down, we opened the box there, we checked out the hood, and looked great. So we put it back in the box, threw it in my truck, drove home. It's about a 2-hour drive for me in traffic, and the hood arrived looking great. Now, the downside, the hardware in the hood that mounts it to the hinges is different. I don't know why Anvil Auto chose to make it different. They ended up going 5/16 18 on their bolt size. That's not what factory is. Factory is a much larger bolt. Not to knock them, the downside is all the hardware that I had, and I was gonna set the hood on the car on the new hinges and then show you guys the hood and be able to show you the bottom side, the top side, and all that stuff. I've unboxed hoods before, and having them in the box just wasn't great. So fast forward 5 weeks later, the hood is on the car. So I just felt like I needed to caveat a lot of that. We couldn't mount it to the car because of the bolts and the hinges. We solved that problem. If you guys are interested in the CVF racing hinges that I got, I'll have a separate video for those, but we'll talk about them along with the hood here because I could show them all off. So let's get to it. So the hood. This is the Anvil Auto 2.5 inch carbon fiber / fiberglass hood. This is the middle of the road option. You could have gone fiberglass, which maybe I should have done at the end of the day, and I'll talk about it here in a second why, but the quality is really good. The one thing, and it's funny because it's like, yes, it's the carbon fiber. The weave looks really nice. The finish, top finish is really good. The only downside is like any carbon fiber that comes from aftermarket companies, I always suggest probably sanding it down and putting an actual automotive clear coat on it. It's gonna allow it to last longer. It will keep it from yellowing over time faster, but overall, I think the finish here is about equivalent to all the other carbon fiber companies out there. So it looks pretty good. There's no real crazy divots and dents. The weave looks really nice. The one thing I really want to highlight though is the underside finish. So one of the biggest things I've seen over the years with aftermarket fiberglass and carbon fiber hoods is the underside usually looks like trash. Now in this instance, it's a little dusty. I apologize for that. I should have wiped down the center, but They have a nice smooth black finish. It's not completely rough, like I can rub a microfiber towel on there and it's not going to get all stuck to it. They actually did spend some time finishing the underside of the hood, and I appreciate that because it usually takes a lot of work if you have to do it after the fact. Now, can you make it better? I think you can if you want to take a quick sanding to it and prep it and paint it. It will look even better, but straight out of the box, this is pretty acceptable. And I give Anvil Auto a lot of props for that. Now, again, the holes for the latch placement look clean and good. I actually have my latch over the table over there. I don't have the bolts for it though. I should have put those on. I did get Anvil Auto's new hood stoppers. They're really nice. They're not too expensive, so I got those on both sides. And then I also have the closeout package for up here, but I don't have the radiator and all that stuff in, so it's not on yet. But the hood itself, you could see the wraparound edges. It's pretty decent. I mean, there's a few flaws here and there in regards to like the resin and how it dried and stuff. You can almost tell that's like a fingerprint of some sort. But overall, I would say the quality, I'm going to try to go slow so you can see it in the camera. The quality is pretty nice. It looks pretty good. Is it perfect? No, but I'll say for carbon fiber, unless you're spending $10,000 to $20,000 on a hood, you're not going to get a mere glass finish. You're just not, like a Koenigsegg would have or something like that. So I think for what this price is for this product, they did a pretty good job. And if you want it perfect, I would highly suggest wet sanding it down, get an automotive clear on it, and be done. So I can't knock Anvil Auto for the fitment. In a sense, outside of how long it took to actually get the product. So when you order products from Anvil Auto, you're either ordering an off-the-shelf product or you're pre-ordering a product. And what that means is you're either giving them a deposit and they are getting it built, and they wait until they either have enough orders or enough orders total of multiple parts to submit the order and then have it come back. My hood took over 6 months to get. They told me this up front. It was going to be a while. Totally fine. It's usually when people go in and buy this stuff and expect it in a week, that's when you have problems and you start complaining. And, as long as you know up front, hey, if you want this product, if they don't have it in stock, it's going to take a while to get. If they have it in stock, you'll probably get it right away and you'll have no complaints. And their website highlights if they have them in stock or not, and just check it out. So with that all being stated, fitment wise on my car, when we set out to build this car, we did all of the body work. Here's a few photos from up at Craig's place when we were doing all the body work. I had my original hood that came on the car. This was a standard Camaro. That hood was messed up. It looked like it flew out of the back of a car or a truck at some point, and one of the ends was crushed, so the whole hood was bowed. So it never fit the car right, even with the original fenders. The other side of it was we bought an AMD, an advanced metal direct hood. And when we placed that on the car right at the finishing line of all the body work, we saw big gaps. And the advanced metal direct hood on another Camaro that was a factory car fit like a glove. And that's when we knew we had problems. And it was the choice of send the car to go get painted because they had an opening in time and I would be able to get the car painted, or wait for the hood to come and then potentially lose a spot and have to wait 6, 7, 8 months to get the car painted. I made the dumb choice of let's get the car painted. We'll figure out the hood when it gets here. Even knowing the advanced metal direct hood did not fit the car right. There was big gaps, lots of issues, which told me the OER front end that we put on the car and the OER fenders were off. They were wrong. And it was just something I convinced myself it would be a better option to do, to fit the hood to the car instead of the car to, or well, you know what I mean. And it's proving to be that. Now, measurement wise, on my neighbor down the street has a 73. His measurements on his car have this hood fitting perfect, edge to edge, side to side. This is an OER, and the hood's open, so no, that's not the gap. But this hood hasn't really even been fit yet to the car. We just haven't mounted to the hinges. We'll get to that in a little bit, but his measurements side to side, upper. So my measurements up top are about the same as his factory original car. My measurements down here are 1 1/8 inch wider than the factory setup. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. I just remember it was 1 1/8 inch wider. We've messed around with the gapping and stuff, and we've just decided we're going to put the front end back to how it was when we bodyworked the car, instead of trying to get it to fit the hood, and then we're going to adjust the hood to fit our bodywork, because that's just going to be the only way to do it. I have the advanced metal direct hood still here. We put that on the car. The gaps are exactly the same with that hood as it is with this hood, which leads me to believe the Anvil Auto hood fits pretty decently. It's not completely off, but keep in mind, every car is completely different. If you don't have factory fenders, if you don't have a factory front end, if you swapped an RS, you're putting on parts that are not factory. That's going to change the dimensions. I mean, 1/8 of an inch makes a big difference. 1/4 of an inch, you know, when you start, you're talking paint sticks at that point. And yeah, it's just one of those things we're going to have to conquer. So the nice thing is I probably would have gone down the route of what I'm going to do with this hood anyways, just because after I've seen the hood on the car, I feel like it's way too much carbon fiber. I really like it, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to get the hood fitted to the car so the gaps are all nice and even all the way around. And then we're going to body paint the outer area here to match the body of the car. And then we'll leave the center portion exposed carbon fiber and figure out some cool way to blend it in right here. We have the hood sitting up pretty high up on the hinges right now. It needs to come down. So you can see these front gaps are pretty wide. But you can see right here up top, that point there, you see the gaps are pretty dang good. But as it comes down wider, it gets really wide, and that's this RS front end from OER. It is wider than the actual factory setup, and you can see it's even more dramatic. So up top it looks pretty good, but down low it gets really wide. So it is what it is. We're gonna do some adjustments, see if we can get it sitting really nice and perfect. Again, I cannot knock Anvil Auto for this problem. This was our issue, and we decided to go get the car painted without the hood, and yeah, it's just what we're gonna have to deal with. So it'll be really interesting to share down the road what we end up doing, going through that whole process and how it all looks when it's all said and done. But overall, I think the hood's really good quality. It's really nice, and I really like how that front end looks. Like, the bulge is bigger, the lines are more pronounced and just aggressive, and I really like it. And these CVS racing hinges, they are so, look at one finger operation. So nice. So nice. So yeah, tons of talking in this video. Apologize. Hopefully I showed off enough of the hood to where you guys could see the quality. Again, I think the quality, the bottom side finish, the weave of the carbon fiber, the finish overall looks really good. I definitely think it's worth the price. Again, if you're gonna want something that's perfectly smooth, like a, you know, piece of glass, like perfect, you're going to be doing a little bit more work to it, sanding it down, getting an automotive clear on there so it looks perfect. I'll try to get another look at the hood itself, just so you can kind of see. I mean, it's really nice, but I definitely think it needs an automotive clear on it. Now, my 6th gen Camaro also has a carbon fiber hood from Anderson Composite. The finish of these two hoods are very similar. So I believe the same thing on the Anderson. I think it needs to be wet sanded down, repolished, and a clear put on that as well, just because resin is not a very nice product to finish, and it can adjust and change over time. So the other thing is, with carbon fiber hoods, I always tell people, like, with concrete and carbon fiber, there's two things you can count on. Concrete will always crack. Carbon fiber is always going to yellow in the sun. Now, if you have a car that's always garage kept, it's obviously going to take a heck of a lot longer for that carbon fiber to yellow over time. Carbon fiber was never designed to be out in the elements. So doing an automotive clear and putting a UV protective, like a UV protective clear on there, will help reduce the yellowing of that hood over time. But do know it's something that you will run into. It'll probably take quite a few years, but it's something I always like to mention that you should keep in the top or back of your head. I like the way it looks. Obviously, I have my own issues with the car and the choices we made during the bodywork side of it. We're going to address that. We'll share as we go down the road on what those changes are going to be. But if you guys are interested in the Anvil products, check them out. I'll put a link down below in the description. Matt over there, really good guy. He'll take care of you. Again, if it's in stock, they can get it to you pretty dang quickly. And if it's not, you're going to have to probably wait a little while. So just keep that in the back of your head as well. But thanks for checking out this video. Leave comments below what you guys think. What have you done? What hoods have you checked out? What are you running? Have you ran into the same issues I did? Did you make the same decisions like I've done? Probably not. I'm probably the only dumb one to do that, but either or. Thanks for checking out the video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you on the road.